Things and Stuff.
G'day, it's Nathan here again. Welcome back to Things and Stuff. Yes, it's been a while, but I'm back. And today I thought we'd create something yet again from the 80s, from the cult classic horror movie Killer Klowns from Outer Space. More specifically, I think we'll try and recreate the Popcorn Clown.
Oh, good. I like him.
Charles, what are you doing here?
I told you I'd be back.
Oh, great. That's all we need. Anyway, let's get on with it, shall we? Now, to make this little monstrosity, we're going to use monster clay, naturally. As always, I have a reference picture, and I made a little wireframe there, so like a supporting structure. Then we're going to wrap that in aluminium foil, just so that it's bulked out, and so we use a lot less clay, and it's a more firmer structure to work on. Once our tin foil creation was ready, we started smearing on some monster clay. You basically just keep spooning it on and letting it cool down until it's roughly the shape that you're after. It's a good idea to place it on your reference picture and squish it around a bit, add more bits where you need it, and just keep going till you've basically got it the shape that you need. And when it's close enough, then you're ready for carving and sculpting. So I began carving away at the sculpture and found it was a little more difficult than I first anticipated, so it was kind of tough. So clay, as it kind of cools down, gets a bit firmer and it's a lot harder to actually work with. So I tried using a blade and it was really tough. Just struggled there.
Kind of like when your mum overcooks rissoles and they're kind of tough to get through, so you leave them on the side of your plate and eat the chips and the veggies first. And that's a mistake, because it cools down and it's even tougher to get through.
Yes, that's right, Charles, yes. Kind of like your rissole analogy. Anyway, I decided to get the heat gun and reheat the clay a little. That would make it a little easier to sculpt it and carve it away a bit.
Oh, that's a good rissole now. Now you can get right through it.
Yes, Charles, that's correct. Anyway, I got it close to the shape I wanted and carved out some eye holes there, and then I got 2 ball bearings, and they were going to be the eyes, so ready to add some more clay on here, just around the eyelids there, so we can sculpt in some eyes. Then we carve in some Gordon Ramsay forehead wrinkles, really chisel it in there, and then I used a rake tool and just started refining the shape a little. There you go, there's our little Gordon Ramsay thing. And I got the heat gun and decided to melt it away a bit, and unfortunately it kind of blew away the wrinkles there, so we had to redo the Gordon Ramsay thing again. Just keep carving away at there and shaping it, and more raking. Basically just refining the shapes and trying to get the look we're after. So basically you just keep repeating that process over and over until you got these shapes that you desire and the wrinkles that you need, and it's a kind of long and tedious process, but it's well worth it if you keep persevering. As you can see, I'm reforming more wrinkles that have been blown away too much, and I actually cut the mouth off there so I can get inside and detail all the inside of the mouth. And then we just continue raking, torching, melting, and patching things up again. I actually started getting really sick of doing all these wrinkles, so I just kept doing it over and over. It becomes quite repetitive.
Oh, I think it would, wouldn't it? Oh, look, you're doing some little teeth holes. You need to do that because that's where the teeth go.
That's right, Charles. That's exactly what I'm doing there. Anyway, I kept carving away and The problem with wrinkles and stuff is you're never happy. You do one and you spend hours on one little wrinkle, trying to get it perfect, and then you melt it away too much and then you have to scrape away again. So I decided to get some Super Sculpey and give myself a break from sculpting the guy, and we decided to make some teeth. So I just rolled out some Super Sculpey and then put them all on a little tray and baked them in the oven there, and there we had it, some teeth that we could put inside our sculpture. I basically did this so I could have a little reference there, so I could see what size the mouth needs to be open and stuff like that. Then I got back to doing more wrinkles and working on the back. It's basically the same process all over again, carving away, melting it, chipping it away, and then, raking it. It's just over and over and over. Carefully carving out the wrinkles in the right spot and then going back over it again a little bit deeper. You don't want to ruin it, you've got to get it perfect. And I got the tongue there and kind of got a dab 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 dab. And then, refine the wrinkles in the eyes a bit more.
Oh, you're doing a lot of work there. It seems to be taking a long time.
It does take a long time, Charles. Then you dab again, make more wrinkles and divots, and then stupidly overdo it and then melt it way too much. So then I got the rake there and decided to redo some details into that tongue, and that time I used a bit of a lighter flame, kind of just barely touching it, just to melt it slightly. I didn't want to do the thing that I did just before. And then you're pretty much getting pretty close to the stage you're after, like the basic shapes anyway. Now it's time to refine him and do all the major wrinkles and pores and stuff like that. And just before you start that, this is something else you probably always should do. Yes, that's right, it's called procrastination. It's basically when you've got a lot of work to do and you just do nothing. You sit there staring at it instead of actually working on it. And it's pretty much because I know I've got a lot of fine wrinkles to work on, and given how long it's taken me to do it already, I just just sat there and starting to wonder about my life choices and playing on the phone when I should be actually sculpting.
Oh, there you go. You were just about to do it. You were just about to do it.
Yeah, I know, Charles, I know. Anyway, there's enough of twiddling me thumbs. I should actually get back into it. So instead of being a perfectionist, I'm just gonna get in there and just start carving away. Not gonna be too fussy anymore. I'm just gonna really just get in there and just have a crack at it. So that's what I did. I just got this tool and just haphazardly just carved in there. Didn't really care anymore. It was just like taking too long. So I just, really rough with the brush. Just get in there and just dig away at it. Because it was spending hours. So I spent hours and hours on those wrinkles to start with. And so, now I just thought, yeah, bugger it, just go for it. And it actually turned out pretty good.
He's pretty spooky.
Yes, he is, Charles. And it was time to mould those teeth, so I got some of that white plastic cardboardy type stuff and cut off a little bit of a strip of it, and then played amateur dentist and plucked out his teeth one by one and super glued them down onto the white plastic cardboardy thingy. I don't know what you call that stuff. Is it melamine? I have no idea what that stuff's called. It's the corrugated plastic stuff that you can cut pretty easily and bend. And anyway, so I got some of that and had them all super glued and built up a little dam wall around the teeth there. And then started hot gluing, a box around the whole thing so that I can pour in some silicone. One must be careful when using hot glue because, well, it's pretty hot and it can actually melt your skin. Ouch. And then it was time to pour some silicone. I got a bit of part A and then a bit of part B and gave it a really good mix. And then I stood on a very unstable chair and decided to pour from a very great height. That was just to minimise the air bubbles in there, so you've got a nice narrow stream. And once that was set, well, then we had our little mould so we could make some more teeth. And then it was time to make our matrix mould. Now I've covered matrix mould in other videos, but I'll give it a quick brief rundown. Basically what you do is you find a halfway point on your sculpture and then you build up a clay wall around your sculpture so that you can then build up more clay on top of your sculpture. And the amount of clay you use is basically the amount of the thickness you want your silicone to be. And then you cover that in plaster. And then once that's set, you turn it over and you repeat the whole process again. Once you've got the two halves done in plaster, you separate them and then you clean out the clay from one of the moulds and put in drill holes for basically so the silicone can escape. And then you pour in your silicone and turn it over, clean out the clay and do the whole thing again. It's a tricky process when you're first trying to learn it, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. So, yeah, it's only a 1 minute tutorial that I've given you there, but I might do a future video, like a more in-depth tutorial on how to make a matrix mold. And then it was time for the painting. As you are all probably well aware, I'm not a big fan of painting because I'm not very good at it. Well, it's not that I'm not good at it, it's just it could make or break a sculpture. You could have a really bad sculpture and you can make it look fantastic with exceptional painting, or you could have an exceptional sculpture and really stuff it up with painting, and I tend to do the latter. Painting's a very tricky thing to learn, I think. So, but I guess the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Basically, what I did was I just did some dry brushing and some a few washes, and pretty much ended up with, well, a final result there. As you can see, it's not the best, but it does the job. So that's our 3 clowns that I made, but you know, they look pretty good, but I think I can do a bit better. I mean, he's a pretty good looking sculpture. Maybe he needs a special kind of display. So now it's time for the final reveal. Thanks for watching this episode of Things and Stuff. If you want a chance to win one of these popcorn clowns that are sitting here in the popcorn bucket, then just leave a comment on what clown is your favourite. It could be Ronald McDonald, could be It, or maybe one of the clowns from Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Doesn't really matter. Just leave us a comment in the comment section and make sure you leave a like and maybe subscribe and share it with your friends. Well, that's it for now. I'll see you in the next video.
Freaks and stuff.